everybody, and welcome along to another webinar interview where we are showcasing the collab between Property Tribes and the property portfolio management software Lendlord. And I'm joined once again by Lendlord co-founder and CEO Aviram Shahar, who's over in Tel Aviv in Israel. And Aviram, very interesting today and very timely actually, because one of the things that we hoped from our mutual collaboration was that we could provide education to landlords on the issues around managing their portfolio. And a discussion cropped up on the forum today, very interesting question and very pertinent, you know, a metric that all landlords should be aware of. And that question was, what is the LTV across your entire portfolio? Now, Lendlord can answer that question, but actually it can go even deeper, can't it? And you produced a little video for the Property Tribes community to show how Lendlord can give them this important information.
Right. Immediately when we saw that, we said, okay, if you use our platform, you can easily track and see what is your LTV. But it's not that just on the portfolio level. You can basically track it on, of course, each property. And in one of the new releases, we also have the ability to filter your portfolio by segments. So you can assign each property to a limited company if you own like properties under different limited companies. You can assign the property to the owner. So if you own a property with a partner and you own 50% and your partner owns 50%, you can also enter this data to our platform. And then easily you can just play with the filters, and you can see if you have like different portfolios in different limited companies, you can see the LTV and the other metrics, of course, on this segment. You can also, in the like a version that we are going to release hopefully next week, we'll have like another even like an advanced filtering, so you can also like pick several properties together and look at the metrics of the combination of those. So yeah, it was very nice to see it and to see how our platform can basically answer a question that raised like in a thread in Property Tribes.
Yeah, and great that you were able to produce a video demonstrating that. And, you know, we really do welcome these questions from the Property Tribes community, and also the feedback that we've been receiving, because it is helping direct the future roadmap of Lendlord. Now, you know, loan to value is a very important metric for property investors. You definitely need to be aware of it because you need to ensure that you do have an equity buffer. It's also relevant when you are applying for a mortgage or a remortgage, particularly if you're a portfolio landlord where the lenders stress your portfolio entirely, not just individual properties. So this is why this metric is so important, and you should keep an eye on it. And clearly, if house prices go up or down, then your LTV across your portfolio is going to change as well. So much going on in the property sector at the moment with the market reopening that we all need to keep across these important metrics. There are other key metrics that Lendlord delivers as well. Could you just give us an overview of those, please, Aviram?
Right. So we mentioned the LTV, but of course that you should track also your like total equity. So basically this is, and as you said, you know, it really depends on the current value of the property. We provide an integration with a third-party tool that like a sourcing system, so you can get some kind of an indication of your property value. But of course, you know, it can't be like 100% accurate. Another important metric will be, you know, the P&L figures. So, and this is really depends on tracking your data on an ongoing basis. So currently on the platform, you can see your net cash flow. So first you can see the gross cash flow. This is like, you know, the rental income, usually minus the mortgage costs, but you need to add the other monthly costs on an ongoing basis. And also if you have like an exceptional cost or like one-time cost, you should track it as well and see how it impacts your net cash flow on a monthly basis, but also like on annual basis. And at Lendlord, we keep 60 historical snapshots of your portfolio. So basically you can see the trend. First, like when you just sign up and build your portfolio, we basically take the snapshots according to the purchase date, and you have like ways to update the data backwards. But once you already started, every month we carry over the expense, the expenses that are like marked as recurring expenses. And you, of course, like can add other expenses that you had in these months. And of course, in the future, we are planning even to integrate to your bank account in a secure way, so you can basically automate all of this process. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you have the net cash flow. And on top of that, the yield, the gross yield, the net yield, and the ROI. Other metrics that we are going, and of course that the ROI is on your, like, it's the percentage or like the net cash flow on top of your cash investment. The yield, the net yield is the net cash flow on top of the property purchase costs. It's a purchase value and the other purchase costs that you had. And the gross basically takes the annual rental income without the expenses. So this is, all of these are like being tracked when you start using Lendlord on an ongoing basis. So you can see it like over time, and you can see also your historical snapshot, and you can also filter your portfolio to see the different KPIs for different properties and for different segments. So you can also like take a look on like a combination of several properties together and see your figures on this segment. So it's very important to track it. And of course, in our dashboard, you can see the high-level summary once you just log in. And we have the weekly report. So every week, we generate a report, customized report for the customer. It requires a password, so it's not, you will not get it, you cannot open it. It's not a PDF that you can just open and look at the data. You need to put your passport, but then you have like on a weekly basis a report that you can review. We also add some like content to our newsletter on top of that. Mm-hmm. But it's like another way to help our user to keep track on their key metrics.
Yeah, and these key metrics are telling you how your portfolio is performing, and that is why they're so important. And I think one thing we're very keen to stress, and always in fact have done at Property Tribes, is that numbers never lie. If you input the data correctly, the output of the information that you receive will be correct. And Ava, I'm just saying from the P&L on Lendlord, from my personal user experience, it actually has a lot of prompts for different things that you can put as expenses against your portfolio, which is obviously very, very important for your tax return, because you do want to claim every expense that you're entitled to in your property business. And there may be some fields there that you didn't even know you could claim against that in your business. So it's very helpful from that point of view. And as you mentioned, there are also customizable fields. And indeed, if anything that you see is missing from the P&L that you would like to see as a field in Lendlord, then please just drop a line to Aviram, and he can instigate that very quickly. We want to be agile in responding to your feedback. Aviram, there may be people watching that have not used Lendlord. What are your top tips for getting started on the platform?
Start with the minimum data that is possible. Like, you don't need to put so many. Put the things that are important for you, and start to see the metrics, start to get some insights. And then I think then is the time like to deep dive and enter more data and get more insights. And I think this is like, I think the way also, like if you want to grow your portfolio, like to start with a baseline, and then to see what I have, and then get the help of the platform, like in the second part is like what I need. And this is something that we are also working on it, and it's like an hour roadmap, and it relates to the key metrics. So if we currently just track your ROI, yield, net cash flow, we want to extend it to also take a look on the future investment and the effectiveness of the investment. So like to take a look on cash on cash, cap rate, the equity multiple, the IRR. So that to take into consideration also value appreciation over the years, the inflation, and things like that. And then if we add that, and you can see your existing portfolio, then I think that this is the best way to measure like a new investment. So you can take a look, how your portfolio will look like with the new investment. And this is something that we will hopefully release in the next upcoming weeks.
Yeah, indeed. Now, one of the things that stops people getting started on a new piece of software is inputting data. And I actually did do my inputting, and it only took me about 20 to 30 minutes actually for a portfolio of around 20 properties. So we want to encourage people to register for their account, start inputting their data, as Aviram said, and I think you'll immediately be rewarded by starting to see these metrics starting to appear, and all the little widgets that show you, such as your total net equity and those kind of figures as well. So it's actually quite exciting and rewarding when you start to put the data in. You actually start to get these insights, and that's just really the beginning, because the more data you put in, the more granular the information that you get will come back to you and help guide you as to how to ensure that your portfolio performance is maximized. Now, this little interview today is just a precursor to our Thursday evening live webinar. So we're not going to go into too much detail, but Aviram, on Thursday, you are going to be demonstrating the profit and loss function that we've been talking about today in more detail.
Right. Yeah, we'll deep dive into this module. We'll show how you can first enter the baseline, the purchase costs. After that, how you can arrange the historical view. So like to basically put like backwards data just to make your portfolio align with the historical view. And then like from now onward, like how to update it on an ongoing basis and keep track on your high level key metrics.
Okay, that is it for today's Lendlord Cross Property Tribes collab educational video. And as mentioned, this is just a precursor to the live webinar on Thursday evening, which will be hosted by myself, Nick and Aviram. And Aviram will be deep diving into the profit and loss module on Lendlord, so showing you some more of the features and how to get the most out of it. And I think I'll just end by saying that data is key in today's world, and if you understand how your portfolio is performing, you are far more likely to be able to survive in these very challenging market conditions. And as we keep saying, Lendlord is there to support you and provide those vital insights so you can make informed decisions about the running of your portfolio. So many thanks to Aviram, and we'll see him again on Thursday evening. Do join us there. It's very interactive. We've got screenshots and lots of examples, and we'll also... Sorry?
Live chat.
Yes, live chat, and also we'll be able to answer any questions that you might have, and also take your suggestions about some of the features that you would like to see on Lendlord going forward. So for now, thank you for watching, and we look forward to welcoming you back onto the live webinar, the best digital landlord live webinar that will be running on Thursday evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.